Hello, Dominating Exiles. Long time no see. I'm Winkers of Cardboard Bastards, here with a Dominating Blow check-in, and if you haven't seen it already, there's a link to the original build guide in the description. Attached to the video is a POV of my current character, plus an additional tree outline with proposed skill points and gear going forward. So, Sentinel League is out of the early stages. The seasoned players have probably finished their Atlas quests, the newer players are into maps, and the economy we're going to be experiencing for the rest of the league has matured into its proper early stage. Headhunter down, Ashes up, Mageblood still king. So, Dominating Blow. How did it shape up? Well, it shaped up at all, which is more than we can say for some builds in this Arch Nemesis 2 Electric Boogaloo hellscape we found ourselves in. Sentinel is a cool league, of course. I love the feel of it and the customization. It strikes a nice balance between managing a mechanic for profit without it really becoming a chore. It's also easy to do it your own way, and it's hard to truly go wrong. Very nice. Arch Nemesis integration was a nightmare though, even for us, and we get to use those monster mods against the rest of the game. Arch Nemesis rares we dominate are fantastic. A Soul Eater mob is actually strong enough to just solo a map boss if it is spun up. That's cool, no matter what else can be said. It's nice that we have that unique attribute in our build now. Unfortunately, Arch Nemesis also takes the amount of incoming damage a player typically has to deal with it and cranks it up to a whole new level. Brass Dome is a must now, and for that reason, I have to apologize to any SSF player who got into the build. Does Dominating Blow work through the campaign and early maps? Sure. It's fine even up to, tier 10s with that low investment I talked about, but the demands for anything more go way up beyond that. If you haven't gotten a Brass Dome, get one while they're still relatively cheap, because it's very easy for a build to get popular and cause the price to skyrocket with an item like this. It's very strong for its niche. I also took Hardy early on in the tree and never looked back. I highly recommend this, as having a bit more sustain through that regeneration is just sort of necessary these days. It's not all bad news though. For instance, pile drivers were our go-to for ease of craftability and high attack speed, but as many people pointed out, stabs would let us take advantage of block nodes in our ascendancy that would otherwise largely go to waste. We still went with pile drivers, mostly because again, they're significantly easier to hit +3 on. But now we have recombinators! These wondrous little bastards make getting a +3 war staff much, much easier, and in fact have basically driven down the price of +3 weapons in general. Now, enough general talk. How does the build perform? Honestly, we're fucking tough. It's great. Those spell suppression evasion armor hybrids might be slightly better than us in survivability overall, but we're number 1 against elemental attacks and handle all damage types exceptionally well. We're not starved for suffixes either, so getting chaos res in addition to everything else is fairly easy. In a perfect world, with perfect gear, you could actually fit quite a bit of spell suppression in as well, but even up through rare T16s, I found myself comfortable on a build that is still a very low budget. Learn to make good use of Molten Shell, and you can basically man-fight your way through anything. One of the few issues I do run into is Sentinel Juice mobs in rare T16s. It was very possible the Spectres didn't survive this, but I have no minion level prefix on my helmet, so that might turn around with an improvement there. Damage. I'm on a 6 link with a level 21 gem and a +3 weapon with a % minion damage craft. I haven't gotten any of my Abyss jewels up and running in the tree, nor have I gotten a Stygian Vice. This means there's a potential +100% minion damage and +25% minion attack speed missing, as well as another 35% minion attack speed from the weapon. I also don't have a +1 all skills amulet, and the amulet I do have isn't even anointed, at the time of footage, at least. I did switch out Brutality for minion damage, as Sentinels are kind of disposable, and even then they didn't really die. This lets our Sentinels fully benefit from the Arch Nemesis mods they were stealing, as many of these have strong elemental or chaos components. In general, things could be a lot better. This didn't stop me from getting through the Exarch and Eater fights with relative ease, though. The Searing Exarch fight was a crapshoot, of course. Even with all the survivability we pack, having minions during the meatball phase just makes things so much more difficult. That said, the damage was enough to get through the fight while only dealing with one meatball phase, and we were otherwise never really at risk of dying. The Eater of Worlds was a joke. Honestly, we stand still, only moving for his laser beam or giant tentacle slams, which we can probably just pop Molten Shell for anyway. And again, it's nearly impossible to die. There's enough regen in the build to make dealing with his special attack very easy. I never even considered he was trying to laser beam me while I was clearing the orbs. And everything went smoothly. It should be noted before continuing that at no point in any of those fights did I lose a single Spectre. Yay. What's next? Honestly, figuring out the changes was draining. I wanted to have a section where I talked about possible changes to the build and places you could take it for greater performance. In general, getting an insane 6-link chest with a +3 double corruption is how you move the build from strong starter to absolute monster. This is because it lets you invest in some powerful one-handed options, like the Scourge, and also in the added defenses of a shield. That's not the only option, though. Arakali's Fang exists. The added bonus from this dagger's spider minions likely offsets the loss of levels, and the spiders have phasing, so they don't compete with your sentinels for space. There's some humorous theory crafting involving chaos conversion via Triad's Grip and going full chaos. It's a bit of a hipster build take, but might actually be the top DPS option with a Squire. These are all heavy investment though, and just continuing the build to its natural peak will probably leave you ready to easily take on everything but truly, truly aspirational content. And it won't break your bank either. So, as with any build, we conclude by talking about what the build is for. Again, it's a strong starter. Mission accomplished, it did it, it got you through, and trial by fire for this league. Holy hell, I don't think it's ever been this rough. I made plenty of current seawall mapping, and it was comfortable to do so long as I observed my limits. Get a brass dome before red maps, and you'll likely never be stopped. The build still has lots of room to grow, but I'm not sure if I'll pursue it. On the one hand, I'm fickle, and I might want to try something new. On the other hand, it's way harder to make a new idea work right now. In the meantime, I'll be along sometime soon with Fungello to do an update on the Kitava's Thirst build. Spoilers, it's good. I'll be streaming as well, probably considering ways to work on the build or thinking up new half-baked ideas to start working on. But, honestly, I might not do either. Arch Nemesis sometimes makes the game a chore to play. I don't know. Until then, peace.